Right now, imagine you're standing in front of a girl you like. You finally work up the courage to confess your feelings, and she rejects you. Not because you're a bad person, she just likes someone else. Maybe he's more confident, maybe he's simply her type. It hurts, because that's how life works. There's always competition. No matter who you are, there's usually another guy who's funnier, cooler, smarter, or more attractive. But what if that competition disappeared? What if, tomorrow morning, you woke up and discovered something? The soldiers on the news are women. The police officer directing traffic outside your window is a woman. The construction workers repairing the road are women. The firefighters responding to an emergency call are women. In fact, every single person on Earth is female, except you. Now, if you've ever seen movies, anime, or internet discussions about this scenario, you're probably imagining something completely different. Most people assume that being the last man on Earth would instantly make you the luckiest person alive, but the reality would be very different. And before we can understand your life in this world, we first need to understand how humanity got here. Because as strange as it sounds, this scenario may begin with something that's already happening today. In humans, slightly more boys are normally born than girls. The ratio has remained remarkably stable throughout history, at roughly 106 boys for every 100 girls. But researchers have noticed something interesting. After major famines, environmental disasters, extreme heat waves, and periods of severe stress, some populations have recorded fewer male births than expected. Scientists are still trying to understand exactly why, but one idea keeps appearing. Male embryos seem to be more fragile during the earliest stages of pregnancy. Under difficult conditions, they are slightly less likely to survive than female embryos. Most of the time, this happens so early that the mother never even knows it happened. As a result, nothing seems wrong. Healthy babies are still being born. The only difference is that slightly more of them are girls. Today, the effect is small, but imagine these problems keep getting worse for generations. More wars, more pollution, more extreme weather. Every generation, boys become a little rarer. What starts as 106 boys for every 100 girls eventually becomes 100, then 80, then 60, then 40. Eventually, the birth of a boy becomes rare enough to make national news, then rare enough that entire regions go years without seeing one. And finally, no more boys are born at all. Meanwhile, the number of living men continues failing. The last generation of boys grows into adults, and eventually, the last men grow old. Then, they die. For the first time in human history, Earth becomes a world inhabited entirely by women. Surprisingly, humanity survives. Long before the last men disappeared, scientists have created vast genetic archives containing millions of preserved sperm samples. Using advanced reproductive technologies, baby girls continue being born and society adapts. Over time, men fade from everyday life into history. Most people know them only through books, documentaries, and old photographs. But beneath the surface, a larger problem is growing. The genetic archives aren't infinite. Every year, humanity becomes more dependent on a shrinking supply of preserved male DNA. Scientists begin asking a difficult question. What happens when the last sample is used? For decades, researchers search for alternatives. Some attempt to engineer artificial Y chromosomes. Others try rewriting human genetics altogether. But every effort reaches the same conclusion. Humanity cannot restore what it has lost. Then, nearly 200 years after the birth of the last natural boy, something impossible happens. A routine prenatal scan detects an anomaly. At first, technicians assume the machine malfunctioned. The results are checked, then checked again, then sent to laboratories around the world. Every result says the same thing. A Y chromosome. Healthy, natural, real. For the first time in generations, a male fetus has appeared without artificial intervention. And that fetus is you. The discovery spreads around the world within hours. Scientists, governments, and news organizations all want answers. But one person sees things differently. Your mother. To everyone else, you're a mystery. To her, you're simply her son. When researchers propose special schools and constant observation, she refuses. Her argument is simple. If humanity wants to understand a normal boy, it has to let him grow up normally. Eventually, that argument wins. As a result, your childhood is far more ordinary than anyone expected. You go to school, make friends, complain about homework, and grow up like any other kid. Of course, that doesn't stop people from analyzing everything you do. If you're quiet, some wonder whether boys are naturally more reserved. If you're naughty, people debate whether it's because you're a boy or simply because you're a child. But the more people study you, the more they reach the same conclusion. You aren't a mysterious relic from the past. You're just a kid. But growing up creates a problem nobody expected. Every boy throughout history learned what it meant to be a man from the men around him. You can't. So you spend hours studying old videos, interviews, and social media posts, trying to piece together what being a man is supposed to look like. As you grow older, you begin to experience something else: attraction. Like most men throughout history, you'd probably be attracted to women. In that sense, you're no different from the billions of men who came before you. But that raises another question. What about women? By the time you're born, society has spent more than 200 years without men. Women still date, fall in love, and build families. Relationships between women have become completely normal. But that doesn't mean attraction to men disappeared. Then you appear. You don't change what people like. You simply make something possible again. Naturally, some women are interested in you. Some of the famous women in the world try to meet you. Celebrities, athletes, politicians, influencers. People spend years trying to date you. So you date. Some people want to talk about history. Others want to talk about science. Some are fascinated by the fact that you're the first man born in 2 centuries. Then one day, you meet someone different. She doesn't ask what it's like to be the only man on Earth. She asks about your hobbies, your favorite movies, the things that make you laugh. For the first time, someone treats you like a normal person. While the rest of the world sees the first man in 200 years, she simply sees you. And eventually, that's why you stay with her. Eventually, you and your wife have a child. The entire world waits for the answer. Is it a boy? It isn't. You have a daughter. For a while, it seems nothing has changed. Humanity still has only one man. Then one day, a headline appears. Another boy's born. Not your son, someone else's. The news spreads around the world within hours. Then another boy is born, and another. At first, years pass between each new boy being born. Then it becomes months, then weeks. Before long, boys are being born often enough that people stop treating each one as a miracle. And that's when scientists make their final discovery. The answer wasn't hidden inside your DNA. It was hidden in the world itself. Over the centuries, the conditions that had slowly reduced male births had also begun to change. Better environments, different living conditions, generations of adaptation and recovery. You weren't the cause. You were the first sign. And with every new birth, something else changes. You become less rare. For most of your life, people saw a scientific breakthrough. Now they simply see a man. Normal. You go home to your wife, you raise your daughter, you grow older. And eventually, the things you wanted all along finally happens. People stop seeing the first man in 200 years. They simply see you.